Well, if trans people were the top whipping boy of 2023, women were a close second, if not tied. But it's continuing into 2024. So, a federal appeals court has ruled that an emergency care law can't be used in Texas. Here is exactly the wording from the article. The Biden administration cannot use a 1986 emergency care law to require hospitals in Texas to provide abortions for women whose lives are at risk due to pregnancy, a federal appeals court ruled Tuesday. Because, why not? Why not say in Texas women are chattel? Alright. It's one of numerous cases involving abortion restrictions that have played out in state and federal courts after the U.S. Supreme Court ended abortion rights in 2022. Really? It was almost 2 years ago? God, it seems like just this past summer. The administration issued guidance that year saying hospitals must provide abortion services if there's a risk to the mother's life, citing the Emergency Medical Treatment and Labor Act of 1986, which requires emergency rooms to provide stabilizing treatment for anyone who arrives at the emergency room, which sounds perfectly reasonable. But when it comes to abortion, people aren't being reasonable. They just want to control women. So, let's find out what was their reasoning. Texas state courts have also been brought separate cases about when abortion must be allowed there, despite bans on it under most circumstances. The Texas Supreme Court ruled last month against a woman who asked for permission to abort a fetus with a fatal diagnosis. Now, that one I followed and I did videos on, and she did eventually leave the state because she pretty much couldn't wait anymore. The same court heard arguments in November on behalf of women who denied abortions despite serious risks to their health if they continued their pregnancies. The justices have not ruled on that case. Based on this ruling on the previous one, I'm gonna say they're going to rule against women. Because again, it's not about the poor innocent children that are being aborted. It's about controlling women, punishing women for having sex or something. Abortion opponents have challenged the emergency care law guidance in multiple jurisdictions. In Texas, the state joined abortion opponents in a lawsuit to stop the guidance from taking effect and won at the district court level. The Biden administration appealed to the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, which has jurisdiction in Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. But the appeal was rejected in Tuesday's ruling by a unanimous 3-judge panel. Because of course it was. The ruling said the guidance cannot be used to require emergency care abortions in Texas or by members of 2 anti-abortion groups that filed suit, the American Association of Pro-Life Obstetricians and Gynecologists and the Christian Medical and Dental Associations. The California-based 9th Circuit Court has allowed use of the guidance to continue in an Idaho case, which is pending at the U.S. Supreme Court. Opponents of the guidance said Texas law already allows abortions to save the life of the mother. Oh, really? Kate Cox would like a word. But that the federal guidance went too far, calling for abortions when an emergency condition is not present and eliminating obligations to treat the unborn child. Because as we all know, the unborn child has more rights than living, breathing women. We've already discovered that. And how the hell do you know when an emergency condition is present? Exactly. The Fifth Circuit panel sided with Texas. The opinion said language in the 1986 emergency care law requires hospitals to stabilize a pregnant woman and her fetus. What if they can't be stabilized? Seriously. Did that ever enter their pea brains? No, it did not, because the point is to punish the woman for getting pregnant, for having sex, for everything, for being female. Because as we all know, what all females are walking incubators. We agree with the district court that EMTALA, or EMTALA, I guess, does not provide an unqualified right for the pregnant mother to abort her child, especially when EMTALA imposes equal stabilization obligations, said the opinion written by George Kurt Engelhardt. Again, what if neither one can be stabilized? Are you saying they just die then? I mean, we already have seen that even though Texas claims to have a provision that to save the life of the mother, we've seen that that is not true. And if this baby is so innocent and every little baby must be born, don't you think you might want to, I don't know, make sure that the baby lives more than a week? Seriously, why is the provision only to save the life of the mother? I mean, that can be put broadly. I don't know why anyone isn't trying to make a broad reading of that. What about saving the life of the fetus? I mean, if the fetus is not going to be living long, if it's incompatible with life, why bother trying to make the woman give birth? It's stupid. In the appellate hearing last November, a U.S. Justice Department attorney arguing for the administration said the guidance provides needed safeguards for women and that the district court order blocking the use of the guidance was an error with potentially devastating consequences for pregnant women within the state of Texas. I think it's already been decided that being pregnant in Texas is a life-threatening condition. The panel that ruled Tuesday included Engelhardt and Corey Wilson, nominated to the court by former President Donald Trump, and Leslie Southwick, nominated by former President George W. Bush. Well, there's a shock. Alright, well, that is all I have for that article, and yeah, all I can say is don't get pregnant if you live in Texas. I mean, if you plan on getting pregnant, or if you are pregnant, get the hell out. Because Texas sees you as nothing but a walking incubator. They don't give a shit about you. And I'm actually surprised at how many obstetricians and gynecologists have stayed in Texas. I really am. I mean, granted, it wouldn't do the women living in Texas any good, but still, I am surprised because the state is basically saying that they're going to tell doctors how to practice medicine, and how the hell can you feel comfortable practicing medicine if you have Big Brother behind your back making sure that you're practicing medicine correctly? I mean, like I said, I'm shocked that there hasn't been a mass exodus of doctors. Anyway, that's all I have for that article. And with that, I will see you guys in the next video.